In the small, rain-soaked town of Guangjin, shadows lingered where they didn't belong. The uneven alleys were lined with dilapidated buildings stained by time and despair, and the air carried a damp heaviness that weighed on the soul. But amidst the gloom, one building stood apart. The pristine Yonsan Academy, renowned for its excellence, its wealth, and its secrets. It was the perfect stage for Yunha's return. Yunha, once a studious and shy girl, had vanished from Guangjin 8 years ago under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind whispers of an unspeakable tragedy. Now she stood at the entrance of Yeonsan Academy, her sharp eyes scanning the crowd of uniformed students shuffling past her, laughter punctuating their conversations. To them she was a stranger, but one she had hoped to never see had just entered the gates. Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo. He wasn't supposed to be here. His presence made her stomach churn and her mind unravel. But the memories of her sister, Ji-eun, demanded her return. Ji-eun had vanished 8 years ago on the very same night as Yunha, her lifeless body found 3 days later near the outskirts of town. The official report called it an accident, a fall during a storm. But Yunha knew better. She had seen him that night. The shadow of Hyunwoo and his smile twisted with malice. And now, with Hyunwoo leading the Academy's student council, the darkness around him had only grown more suffocating. She was sure of it. He was the murderer. But proving it was another question entirely. Yunha didn't blend in easily among Yeonsan's polished students. While others checked their mirror-perfect makeup and flaunted their tailored uniforms, she stayed silent, her figure slender and hunched, her eyes cast downward as she traced invisible steps through the hallways. Her ex-classmates didn't comment, though their sidelong glances spoke volumes. Yet even as she faded into the background, she found herself strangely drawn to one girl in her class, Yoonhee. Yoonhee had a kindness Yunha couldn't ignore. Her bright, curious smile sliced through the dark clouds surrounding Yunha, and when she offered her friendship, Yunha hesitated, but eventually accepted. It didn't take long for Yoonhee's warmth to chip away at Yunha's icy demeanor. Over shared lunches, study group sessions, and casual conversations, Yunha finally began opening up, but never fully. She couldn't allow herself to be close to anyone, not yet, not until she knew Hyunwoo's secrets. Hyunwoo's show of being the ideal student council president was one Yunha had studied for weeks. His charm and charisma were unmatched, his gentle leadership an obvious mask. While others praised his ability to diffuse tension and outshine every challenge, Yunha saw through his facade, the moments his mask slipped. She noticed the tension along his jaw when harmless questions arose, the way his fingers drummed against his desk when others mentioned Yeonsan's bloody history. She had been biding her time, digging through old academy archives and stolen records. The files were sparse and heavily redacted, but Yunha was meticulous. She found faint traces of unsolved mysteries connecting Hyunwoo's name to 2 other disappearances, 2 girls never found. It was enough for her to act. One late, moonless night, Yunha followed Hyunwoo. He walked alone through the academy's secluded gardens, his path deliberate yet unhurried. His white button-down shirt glowed faintly beneath the dim streetlights, but there was something darker about him now. He looked over his shoulder, not with fear but with certainty, and his lips almost curled into a grin. Yunha froze behind a row of overgrown hedges as Hyunwoo stepped forward into the shadow of the old clock tower. The fog curled thick at his ankles, and the wind howled, bending the branches of the nearby trees. Her breath hitched. Hyunwoo spoke into the heavy silence, his voice calm but tinged with pleasure.
Watching me again, Yunha?
Her heart stopped. Before she could rethink her actions, he turned sharply, his eyes locking onto hers with deadly focus. He had known all along. Yunha didn't run. She couldn't. Hyunwoo's piercing gaze was paralyzing, yet she stood her ground. She didn't feel fear, not anymore, but a burning determination to face the monster she'd spent years tracking. Slowly, she stepped out from the hedges, her fists clenched. "You still smile like nothing ever happened," she said coolly, her voice unwavering. Hyunwoo tilted his head, a flicker of amusement flashing across his face. "And you still speak as if you know the truth." Yoonha took another step forward. I saw you. I know what you did to Ji-eun. Hyunwoo's smile dropped, replaced by an unreadable expression. And what exactly do you think I did? He asked, his voice darker now, quieter. You killed her, Yoonha hissed, the words almost breaking her. She didn't fall. You were there that night. For a long moment, Hyunwoo was silent. The air between them grew heavier, the distant sound of rain lingering in the background. All at once, Hyunwoo's features hardened into something cold and merciless. He stepped closer. You saw me. Yes, you saw me near the cliffs, where Ji-eun fell. But did you see who was with her before she died? Yoonha paled. Her memories had always been fragmented, blurred by trauma and time. But Hyunwoo's words sent icy chills over her skin. You weren't alone, she whispered. Hyunwoo laughed bitterly. No, Yoonha, I wasn't alone, but you were too focused on blaming me to see what really happened. As Hyunwoo continued speaking, layers of the past unraveled, and Yoonha's world shifted under her feet. Ji-eun hadn't been a victim of Hyunwoo's cruelty, as Yoonha had believed. She had been part of something far darker, a conspiracy buried deep within the academy, tied to a secret society formed generations ago. Ji-eun had uncovered the group's secrets, exposing their hidden crimes, and in retaliation, she had been silenced. Hyunwoo revealed that he had tried to help Ji-eun escape that night, but she had been hunted by others, figures Yoonha couldn't possibly identify now. In the chaos, Ji-eun had stumbled and slipped off the cliff, and Hyunwoo had fled, fearing he would be targeted next. Tears burned behind Yoonha's eyes as she listened. Her years of hatred and pursuit had been misplaced, and the realization hit her like a knife. Yet, Hyunwoo didn't display anger, only a haunting sadness. I never wanted this, he said softly. But if you continue digging, you'll find that Ji-eun was never meant to survive that night. And you're walking the same path. Despite the horrors Hyunwoo revealed, she refused to abandon her pursuit. Together, though reluctantly, they sought the truth hidden behind Yeonsan Academy's polished veneer. Slowly, the threads of the conspiracy unraveled, and Yoonha uncovered those responsible for her sister's death. They weren't faceless monsters, but well-connected individuals in positions of power, teachers, administrators, wealthy parents who operated under the guise of academic excellence. Their crimes extended far beyond Ji-eun, encompassing students who dared to challenge their influence. In the end, Yoonha exposed the truth. With Hyunwoo's help and Yoonhee's unwavering support, they leaked evidence to authorities, ensuring that justice was served. The academy's reputation shattered, and those responsible faced consequences. The rain finally cleared over Gwangjin as Yoonha stood by Ji-eun's grave. Her sister's name etched into the stone now felt lighter, as though the weight had lifted. The years of guilt, rage, and sorrow dissolved, replaced by the warmth of closure. Hyunwoo stood silently beside her, his hands in his pockets. Though his involvement in the events had been complicated, Yoonha felt she had gained not just an ally but an unexpected friend.
Do you feel better?
Yoonha nodded. I do, and now Ji-eun can rest. As she turned toward the town, where sunlight glimmered across the rooftops, she felt hope break through the shadows. For the first time, she believed in the possibility of healing. If you enjoyed this story filled with suspense, twists, and redemption, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more captivating content. See you in the next video. Despite the horrors Hyunwoo revealed, she refused to abandon her pursuit. Together, though reluctantly, they sought the truth hidden behind Yeonsan Academy's polished veneer. Slowly, the threads of the conspiracy unraveled, and Yoonha uncovered those responsible for her sister's death. They weren't faceless monsters but well-connected individuals in positions of power, teachers, administrators, wealthy parents who operated under the guise of academic excellence. Their crimes extended far beyond Ji-eun, encompassing students who dared to challenge their influence. In the end, Yoonha exposed the truth. With Hyunwoo's help and Yoonhee's unwavering support, they leaked evidence to authorities, ensuring that justice was served. The academy's reputation shattered, and those responsible faced consequences. The rain finally cleared over Gwangjin as Yunha stood by Ji-eun's grave. Her sister's name etched into the stone now felt lighter, as though the weight had lifted. The years of guilt, rage, and sorrow dissolved, replaced by the warmth of closure. Hyunwoo stood silently beside her, his hands in his pockets. Though his involvement in the events had been complicated, Yunha felt she had gained not just an ally, but an unexpected friend. Yunha nodded. "I do, and now Ji-eun can rest." As she turned toward the town, where sunlight glimmered across the rooftops, she felt hope break through the shadows. For the first time, she believed in the possibility of healing. If you enjoyed this story filled with suspense, twists, and redemption, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more captivating content. See you in the next video.